Hi, it's Shamik MD. Today I'm going to speak about gluten, specifically for Prince K, who is a very special supporter and watches a lot of this channel. So this is for you. Gluten is something most of us have seen in grocery stores and health food stores, gluten-free, pretty much everything you can imagine. Now, if you have celiac disease, it's perfect for you because it's a health condition, and when you have gluten, it's not very good for you. Or if you have gluten sensitivity, which I'll explain. But surprisingly, most of the people that reach for gluten-free foods don't have the disease and are not sensitive, but just have an idea in their head that gluten-free is healthier, or gluten-free will help them to lose weight. Now, if you do have celiac disease, it's essential that you have a gluten-free diet. But otherwise, if you don't, many times, if you go gluten-free, you might be missing or lacking in a lot of vitamins, minerals, and fiber that's important to the body. About 1% of Americans have celiac disease, and what that means is the small intestine cannot tolerate gluten. Gluten actually damages the lining and causes essential nutrients not to be absorbed. The way celiac disease is diagnosed is from a blood test, which tests for antibodies, and if that's positive, then usually a biopsy is taken. Celiac disease has symptoms such as diarrhea, anemia, skin rashes, different digestive issues, but many times there's no symptoms at all with celiac disease. Because oftentimes there's no symptoms, only 5 to 10% of the actual cases of celiac disease are even diagnosed. Now, what if you don't test positive for celiac disease, but you still have the symptoms, such as the abdominal pain, the bloating, diarrhea, and the other symptoms, but your doctor says you're not positive? You still may be something called gluten sensitive. The difference between celiac disease and gluten sensitivity is when you're gluten sensitive, the actual lining of your intestine is not damaged with the gluten, versus celiac disease, you have actual physical damage. But the symptoms are very real, and gluten sensitivity does exist. In addition to the abdominal symptoms, often gluten sensitivity individuals also have fatigue and headaches along with the digestive and the abdominal symptoms. So in this case, if you're gluten sensitive, a gluten-free diet would help you with your symptoms. But in most cases, there's a misconception that gluten-free diet is very, 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 very healthy. And as I mentioned earlier, you're going to lose weight, and it's the healthiest thing to do. So what's wrong with the rest of us going gluten-free when we don't really have to? Well, first of all, gluten is found in actually a lot of very nutritious foods. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Gluten also shows up in many whole grain foods related to wheat, including bulgur, farro, kamut, and spelt. Many experts also tell celiac disease patients to avoid oats as well. Gluten itself doesn't have any nutritional benefit, but the whole grains that gluten is contained in has a lot of nutritional benefit. Very high in vitamins, minerals, such as the B vitamins, high in iron, high in fiber. And studies show that a diet high in whole grains as part of a healthy diet can reduce the chances of heart disease, diabetes, and certain forms of cancer. Whole grains have been shown to have a lot of nutritional benefit. There are some whole grains out there that are very healthy that do not contain gluten. These include amaranth, millet, and quinoa. So if you still want whole grains, but you don't want the gluten, there's still some options out there. They're harder to find, but they're still there. You have to do quite a change in your eating, as is in so many products out there: breads, crackers, pastas, whole grains. And that's okay, but you just have to understand, when you do something drastic and change what you're used to, your body might suffer in the beginning, as you're going to be lacking a lot of nutrients that your body is used to receiving. So just keep that in mind. So unless you do have celiac disease or celiac insensitivity, unless you have one of these things, it's not necessary, and you don't have to feel like you have to try to go gluten-free. If you're at the restaurant, you don't necessarily have to go and try the gluten-free pasta. Or that word gluten-free doesn't need to resonate so much, and you don't need to gravitate to it. If you think you're doing it just for overall health reasons, it might not actually be the case. So this is a quick video on gluten. Really listen to your own body. Every day there's something different in the news. There's some new research that comes out. There's a new fad or trend, and often we don't know what organization or what lobbyists are backing that trend. So pay attention to how your body actually feels when you eat certain foods. The more aware we are of our own bodies, and everyone is different, you can pick and choose what makes you feel good and has, provides you with the right type of energy, and what doesn't. Instead of listening to headlines, listen to yourself. This is Shamik MD from ShamikMD.com.